Battlestar Galactica.
You really adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Bazinga!
2 in the box! Ready to go! Meet me fast. Baby slow!
Cool.
Oh, yeah. This is it, guys. The Geekmore episode. Welcome to the Mt.Geekmore podcast, your favorite podcast where we like to talk about, debate, argue, and discuss your favorite pop culture subjects. Your Mount Rushmore, your top 4, your Mount Rushmore, if you will, of your favorite pop culture subjects. Today's pop culture subject is one near and dear to all of our hearts. It's in celebration of Pixar Films' 21st feature film, animated film. Feature-length animated film. We are doing the Mount Rushmore of Pixar movies.
Yay! Applause.
This is gonna get. Oh God. Oh boy.
Welcome to the new Geekmore.
Welcome to Nary Saenz in the Morning Show.
Oh God.
You asked for it, dude.
Oh,
You did it. You
no.
did it.
You
did
literally
it.
asked for it. I don't understand why you would do that. You literally asked for it.
Yep.
Anyways, so thank you for checking us out. I am Nary Saenz. We have today a very special panel. We have Missy.
Hi.
From the What's Up Bro podcast. We have from the Mommas and Merlot podcast. We have my wife, Vanessa.
Hello.
And via phone call through our very nifty cell phone, new mixer, we have the originator of one of the co-originators of the What's Up Bro podcast. We have Mike Mercadal.
What's up, y'all?
Live
Originator.
from
originator.
New York.
Yeah. Oh God.
Woo! Take it out!
What if I just hung up right now? Like just
We would just call you back.
Yeah.
Like-
we'll FaceTime your dad first. And then,
yeah.
and then, yeah.
See, no one's gonna know what that joke is.
Yeah, I know, but it's funny with us. Who cares?
Oh boy.
Who cares?
Yeah, let's rock and roll. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to do phoners now because you guys do shows that I let's just say I listen on the subway train and everyone's got to be wondering why I look so mad, and it's because all of you are wrong. All of you have been incredibly wrong at different points, and now I can actually be on and be like and to tell you directly.
Just in Geekmore or the whole on every podcast?
All of the Geek Bro Network
Yay!
have been wrong at all times. They've
How
all.
rude.
I have
Okay with
opinions.
I like
No.
it actually.
You like being wrong?
That's
Hell
fun.
yeah.
All right. Well, I guess.
Yeah, let's get
guess.
ready to be wrong on this mountain.
all the time. Anyway, so how did you guys select your mountains? How did you guys select your list, Missy?
Okay, so I went with movies that I feel break the cutesy kid story mold, and I picked movies that, as an adult, without the excuse of being a parent, would watch like on a Tuesday. So that was pretty much it. The hardest part about this mountain was figuring out how many movies I thought were Pixar that are actually Disney, i.e. Tangled.
Oh yeah, no,
That sucks. But yeah, it was a good mountain. It was an easy mountain.
It was an easy mountain.
Vanessa?
I went through a list and I just started writing down the ones that I liked the most, and then I went through those and picked my 4.
Was there any like self-imposed rule that you made? Was there like
I
one from
decided
a franchise?
I said that I only wanted to pick one from a franchise, but it didn't end up affecting my list.
All right, Mike.
I went with movies that I had seen, and that's it. That's kind of it. No,
I've seen 4 Pixar movies, and that just happened to be my mountain, so that was it.
Yep, that's it.
That worked out really well.
Why is it Cars 1, 2, and 3? I genuinely just went through the list because I wanted to make sure I didn't do the Disney thing, and I keep it like Pixar. So because otherwise, like Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite things, and Tangled is great, but they're not on the list. So I had to make sure I was picking Pixar. And then I just went with the ones that, like, I have a thing with Pixar movies that I don't like when, like, they're just super depressing. Like, I feel like Pixar already, like, figured out a formula and they're just fucking with us at a certain point. So I went with the ones that I had the most fun watching.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to go
What
that
is this
route.
funny you speak of?
Yeah.
If you want to go that route, whatever.
Well, I mean, it was hard to even then narrow it down because every single one of these movies has a moment or two or what a bunch that just like where you're like sitting there crying at a computer program and you're like, this is art.
I can cry at art.
Art can be emotional.
It's supposed to be
that's what I'm
emotional.
saying.
It's supposed to be.
But I don't necessarily go for like the like. Well, I guess we'll get into it as we go along because I'm sure someone will have picked one and you're wrong. You know, that's just the way it works.
That's where I live. I live in Wrongville.
Yeah.
Wrongville. All right.
Tell me how to make my mountain, Michael.
Are we start? Okay. Huh?
I said, don't tell me how to make my mountain, Michael.
Oh no! I was there for the origin of. Hey, your mountain. Your mountain's your mountain. You can do whatever you want.
That doesn't sniff my mountain. That pig won't sniff
Yeah.
my mountain.
Ew, who says that?
They used to
We
say
used to
that
all the time.
Oh, that's
when they
cool.
would make their mountains.
I take
all
my
over.
ill back.
All right, let's start off. Number 4. We're gonna
How
go
did you make your mountain?
I just I'm very emotional, and I pick my mountain based upon
The opposite of Mike.
well, yes and no in the sense of like I'm attracted to those that make me feel the feelings. So throughout the years, I've rewatched certain movies over and over and over again, and these are and I'm not including the ones that my kids force me to rewatch. That's a different story. That's just that's dad rewatching, and that's not the same thing as
Right.
This is a movie that I personally want to rewatch for my sake.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
So that would be the way I picked my picks. Right?
Okie dokie.
All right, we're starting with number 4, right? We're going from bottom up.
Yes, that is correct.
With the fourth pick.
Number 4. Round 4.
I'm in no mood for your wives' crack. Let's get it on.
All right. So
Can only go well.
Missy,
Yes.
you're number 4.
So my number 4 is Finding Nemo.
All right.
Mine too.
For number 4?
Mhm.
Oh, yay.
High five.
All right. So Mike, do you have Finding Nemo higher up in your list? Because that would be a table, just in case you forgot.
It is not on my mountain.
All right. Right on. Okay. So Missy, you guys want to talk about this, ladies?
I think, so Finding Nemo, for those listening, was released in 2003. So that
Before
was...
children for me.
Well, still before children. Every day is before children for me. So I love Finding Nemo because I think it's a great message. And I actually think that even though the movie's like was marketed for kids, I think it's more for helicopter parents, to be honest.
100%.
Right?
100%.
Because like there's some issues there. This guy needs to work out.
Yes. The reason he swims across the ocean is because he is a helicopter parent trying to save his kid. And he
does get abducted. So that's like a
well, yeah, the
fair
kid gets
reason.
abducted, but he swims across the ocean.
Wait. Hold on.
We can't exactly call 911 either.
He gets.
I love how
He gets abducted because he's a helicopter parent. He gets abducted because Nemo's like, I'm tired of you. Give me my fucking space. And if it wasn't,
Right. Well, he's a child, so I don't.
no, but if it wasn't for him overcrowding him so much, he wouldn't feel the need to rebel in that moment.
To warning.
Yeah. Guys, I can't believe how wrong you are right out of the gate. This is amazing. Because Marlin, his wife was murdered. His wife Nemo was the last remaining egg. Of course he's going to be freaked out.
Hold on.
It's
Is
about
Oh, no one's saying that.
Wait.
It's wrong that he's a helicopter
you
parent.
guys.
But you do need to give children a teensy bit of
Wait,
space.
is that called murdering when the other person, the one that quote unquote murdered was just eating? Like that's just a cycle of life. Is that still called murder?
That's getting weird.
Okay, so then in your definition, Jeffrey Dahmer was just hungry.
I mean,
an argument could be made for that, I think.
I think that was
That's
actually
right.
his legal argument. I think that was his
That
legal
should be
argument.
I just
that
needed
should
a
be the
snack,
rule. Yeah, if you've murdered somebody, it's not murder if you eat them afterwards. This is the lessons we learned from Finding Nemo. It's just the food chain, man. It's just nature.
Oh man. So yeah, and also we get Dory, which
Yes.
I think is one of my favorite sidekicks,
And Crush.
and Crush,
And the sharks saying, fish are friends, not
and the seagulls.
food.
I just think the whole movie was a lot of fun. I think for the time, like it was for lack of a better word, revolutionary. And
Well, it was a road movie. It was like a road. So like
Like a
road
traveling
movies
movie.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's like different destinations as you go. You run into these characters, and then it's like fun to have these like crazy characters pop up, and then you just keep going, you know. So it was a road trip movie essentially.
pretty much.
And we got the motto of just keep swimming. That's great.
which is a great life motto.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It transcends like just a kid movie. Like that's helped me out on some days. you
Yes.
know?
And I take back my what was it? What did you ask me? Like the one per franchise thing? Because I love Finding Dory also, but I wanted to pick one or the
Only
other,
one?
not both. So Dory's on my honorable mention.
I wasn't a fan of Dory. I think they took too long of making that film I don't think the script was like, oh my God. Like
No, the script wasn't that great, but I like the story of Finding Dory. Like
I think
I'm gonna go ahead and
Finding
say-
Dory was hella depressing though.
I'm
Like
gonna-
that one was so depressing. It was especially like with like when you think about it in terms of like if she's got like a legit memory loss, like Alzheimer's or something like that. I watched it on a plane and I was like crying. Planes do that to you, but also like it was just depressing. That movie it was so messed up.
yeah.
it is.
I'm personally going to save the clip of Missy saying that so that if she ever does go on Ellen, I'll be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just to let you know.
You would do that, you bastard. You would really do that.
No, I wouldn't
You
do that.
said you would call her the other day. Now
Just
you're
out of
gonna...
laziness, I'm not going to call and figure out the
Just 'cause it's too
timestamp.
much
and-
work?
Yeah, it's too much work.
Well, thanks. And now,
Well, you know, Ellen would just turn around and be like, "Oh, that was just a paycheck anyway. Yeah, whatever." Blah.
yeah. By the time that Finding Dory came out, like I think she was okay. That she didn't care if it did well or not. I think for her, like career wise, not that I'm obsessed with Ellen and I know her entire career, but I'm just saying in 2003 she needed a win a lot more than she needed whenever Finding Dory came out. I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago. So yeah. So that's my number 4.
And for me, Finding Nemo was just so beautiful. Like the color, I love the ocean. I'm very much save the turtles, use a metal straw, not a paper one because paper straws suck. But like,
That whole scene with the jellyfish is one of the best things in Pixar.
yeah,
When they're swimming through the jellyfish and getting zapped and stuff like that.
but just like every scene in the movie was just so beautifully done.
Captivating.
Like when they go to like the bottom, like the depths of the ocean, and they get like chased by that fish that lights up. I don't know the technical name for it, but
The anglerfish with a little light that it's all like it's the horror movie. It's like the deeper you go, the more horror movie it is. That's not everything I say needs a noise after it. I'm just saying.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh boy.
Just so you know, it's gonna be a long night. It's Neri at the
Neri's the one pushing
Yeah.
the buttons.
It's not us.
But yeah,
Oh, there has always been the one pushing the button.
That is true. True.
he's a button presser.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh God, please! I can
gonna hang up on
physically
us halfway
hear
through.
people.
And that was the
I
last
can-
time that Mike ever picked up when Neri called.
Yeah. No. I can physically hear people like literally clicking off of the podcast. Like they're like,
We get it.
yeah.
Yeah, count to 100 before you press it again.
Okay.
So I think that's it for me in Finding Nemo.
Agreed. I like. Oh, and we got Darla. I love Darla.
Oh, she's a terrorist. What are you talking
I know,
about?
but that's why I like her.
That's dark.
I like the music.
The
when she
psycho
comes
music?
up. Yes, it's so great.
That's dark.
But she's like, what, 5, 6
I bet
years
you
old?
she's Sid's like third cousin.
That's
or
what
whatever.
I thought. I was about to say. I think my fan theory is that they later on hook up and get married.
Well, that's terrible for all the animals and maybe parenting.
And all the toys.
Yeah.
And
The planet.
yeah.
Like, you know how you can't have like plastic straws anymore? Like, they shouldn't have babies like that. Dark.
Little bit.
All right.
Little bit.
So, Mike, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is, and I know I just said a whole bunch of stuff about the crying thing, but this movie did get me one time. But Coco is my number 4.
Table.
Yeah, I figured that would happen. Yeah.
All right. My number 4 is.
It only got you one time?
There, I would say I watched it like on my
we
break
tabled
at
it. We
work.
tabled
Sorry,
it.
sorry.
We
I couldn't
tabled it.
help myself.
We tabled it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
We'll get
my number 4 is The Good Dinosaur.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That one made me cry.
Controversy.
I love The Good Dinosaur. It is one of Pixar's lowest rated as far as Rotten Tomato scores. It is
I don't know why. It's a great movie.
It's a fucking great movie. I love this movie so much. I love all the voice acting in it. I love the fact that he couldn't kill the little cave boy, and the story the lesson,
baby Encino Man.
Yeah, the lesson that taught that brought that later on, you know what I mean. They became friends, and it started off.
I never saw that one. What's the lesson? Like, what's the big overarching kind of like idea of that movie?
You know, that's
that the dinosaur couldn't kill the human, and then the human grows up and.
No, and destroys the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
He's the one that brings the dinosaurs down to its knees.
Oh, Jesus.
No, it's a whole thing about family and about branching out into your family is whoever you make it. You know what I mean? It's not only by blood, but it's all, you know what I mean? So
right.
It's all of that. It's, I don't know, man. There's a lot of overlapping themes, I guess. But I would say family and the fact that family is who you make it to be.
Why do you think it didn't do so well? I barely remember hearing about it when it came out, and then like I don't know. Yeah,
I don't
like
know.
Why? Is that what you think?
I don't know what it is because I know that there was a lot of there was a lot of changes in like background story as far as they changed the story a lot. It was the first movie by Pixar that did not make the cut, that did not make its intended release date, its first intended release date. So they had to.
Was it a religious thing because people and dinosaurs are hanging out together, and then it was like a young Earth? Was it a young Earth Pixar movie? Was it that the problem?
No, I don't know what it was. It was definitely flat. So
it was.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of
The Good Dinosaur is Pixar's like flat Earth manifesto.
Yeah,
This is one
that's what I think it is now.
Yeah, it was one of the first movies that, not the first, but one of the first movies that was made without Steve Jobs' input, and after he passed away and all of that. So there could have been a shift in that. I mean, I think at that point they could have been working on other stuff that they were banking on. This is just a hypothesis. I don't know if this is true or not, but there was Cars 3 coming. There was Finding Dory. So maybe they shifted some of the marketing muscle towards that and tried to like save some money. But it's on Rotten Tomatoes, it outranks Cars 3 and Cars 2 by a lot.
Yeah.
So people like it.
But only those two.
I'd like to see what the box office was on that, though.
Which is like, not saying much if you think about it, because those two movies, people hated Cars 2, especially. So it's like, well, it did better than the worst movie that everybody hates. Like, oh, in that case.
But it still has a higher score than Sister Act 2. I don't know if you want to get into that right now.
Why?
Well, now what are you doing? You're trying to anger two people, half the panel?
Well, he pushes buttons. I can push buttons too. The budget for, well, go ahead.
No. You said the budget. I'm interested.
So the budget for The Good Dinosaur was $175 million, and it grossed $332 million. So I guess it made its money back.
That's a success.
Yeah, but
but not by Pixar.
Not by
Pixar. Not by Pixar standards.
Yeah,
but based on how much they invested in it and how much they got back,
like to us, it's like, God damn, you made twice back your money. But they're like, oh, lunch. Like I don't think it really.
No, I mean, it made double its money back. I mean, it was that internationally though.
No, that was both. Internationally was 210.6, and domestic was 123 million.
Oh, okay.
So altogether,
because it seems like,
but that was before the home release. The home release gave it another $62 million.
Yeah, because I figured that would be a good one for like international. You know how they like tweak Pixar does like tweaks for whenever they release internationally.
Yeah,
like they did it for Inside Out. They do it for. I'm sure like Good Dinosaur is probably one that they could have they just like released and recorded in different languages, and they could just send it out without changing it too much. You know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean. Yeah. Unless there's a country that's like, we don't believe in dinosaurs here, so
China.
Brother, that's called America. There's people in the United States who do not believe in dinosaurs.
I know, he's in the White House.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah. Nice. We're just kidding, NSA.
I'm not.
Nope.
So, anyways, that's my number 4 is The Good Dinosaur. I love that movie. I think it's grossly underrated.
Yes. It's an honorable mention.
It doesn't get the respect put some respect on my name.
No respect.
I was writing down Good Dinosaur and I put good respect. Good Dinosaur.
Coming to a theater near you.
All right, so the number 4s were Finding Nemo, Coco, and The Good Dinosaur. All right.
Round 3.
3 is a magic number. Yes, it is.
All right, Missy, what's your number 3?
I love it. Now I'm so happy I'm number 3 coming up right after that. My number 3 is WALL-E.
Honorable mention.
Table.
Oh. Plot twist.
Table.
Okay.
All right.
I got tabled.
You see the way he said it? Table.
Yeah.
Table.
Sound like a speak and spell.
That's exactly what he is, really. All right, so anyway, so number 3, Vanessa.
My number 3 is Inside Out.
Table.
I knew that was coming.
I told you we're just going to talk about the same movies, just in different orders.
All right, and
Fastest
Mike,
round ever.
what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Monsters, Inc.
Nice.
All
Good
right.
choice.
Ooh,
We can
no
talk about
table?
it.
No table.
We can talk about it.
Oh, interesting.
It was an honorable mention for me, but you go first.
Yeah,
I love this movie so much. It was
Is it 'cause it's you?
Well, I am the
Sully?
ultimate combination of Mike Wazowski and Sully. I am both of them in one man. And no, it when it came out, I saw it with my little brother.
I think, we're all looking around the room and we're like, I see
he's
Sully.
just Sully.
I see Sully. Definitely Sully.
Maybe he's Mike Wazowski on the inside.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, see?
I'm a Mike Wazowski mind in a Sully body. Is what it is.
Wow, you should put
No,
that
but
on your,
I genuinely-
You should put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
That should be my Tinder bio.
Mike Wazowski in the streets, Sully in the sheets.
Spit her wine out. Swallow, please.
Man. No, but I really do love that movie. That movie was very cool with the doors and the flying around and then this whole, like, I love the concept of it, that they were scaring the children. I also love the ride in Tomorrowland, the last floor.
Factory, yeah.
Yeah, the show where there's like which is, so the structure of that movie was great. And then it's like how this girl gets in, boo, and then they kind of have to like keep her safe and then also not let everyone find her. And I just love it. I think it's one of the better ones. And I love John Goodman and all the voice acting that was out. The Wazowski lady was great.
Roz.
Oh, yeah, right. It's one of my favorite movies. And also because of the story of like the monster who is very good at being a monster, but he's just a nice guy, you know? I identify.
It's deep.
I like the message of the movie where ultimately it was laughter gets you further than fear, and which is something that somebody in the Capitol should be watching.
Jesus.
So I just sorry.
This is the most political it's gonna get.
So
Chris Kringle.
So I just but I like that message. I like that message of like, you know, they were struggling coming up, you know, they were like on a power drought and they were doing all this stuff, you know, and they were trying to they were harnessing the power of fear, and laughter is 10 times the power. And I love the fact that message. Yeah. Like, we should have gone this route from the beginning.
Yeah, I also love that they treated it was like a job, like an old school, like industrial, like they just clock in. They do the training. I love the training montages with the like animatronic kid in the bed, you know, and they have to like scare the fake kid, and they're like, I loved it. I loved how, and then there's all the different kinds of monsters, and yeah, it was like eye candy, and then also just like a fun, good story, like a caper, you know, it was good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's number 3 on my mountain good because of how it makes me feel.
How it makes me feel. All right.
No, don't do that.
No. Comedy.
What about you?
Comedy, not music.
My number 3 is Toy Story 3.
Nice.
Good choice.
So,
Toy Story 3, the third one?
Yes, the third one.
Ooh. I didn't go for any sequel. So.
Oh, okay. That was your rule. Toy Story 3.
Should have talked about that at the beginning.
Toy Story. I think the Toy Stories. They were great, man. Toy Story 2. I always have a problem picking between 2 and 3. To be honest with you, I love 3, and I love both 2 and 3. But it's kind of flip of the coin. But that last sequence of events where they're about to all go into the fire, and they all start holding hands. Woo! And like, all right, now, I tweeted that out the other day where they were, I was talking about part 4 that I didn't really like part 4, and it's like, well, it wasn't as good as part 3, and I was like, dude, part 3, and I paraphrased Rocky. I said part 3 broke things in me that ain't never been fixed. It's like it's so fucking good. Like, that whole friend thing and everybody holding hands and like we're all going down together and then being saved by the claw ultimately was fucking great. But
man, I think so. I will say that movie was ruined for me because I didn't see it like right away. So all I got was how many people were saying that about the final scene and oh my god, it's this crazy thing and it's gonna break you. You're gonna say, and then when I watched it, I was like, just waiting for that. So the rest of the movie was like, all right, when's it going to get there? When's it going to get there? How are they going to build it? So I wasn't really invested. I think like that movie was ruined for me by the buzz around it. And then when I saw it, I was kind of like let down, or not even let down, or I was just like so bracing for impact that I didn't really like enjoy it. You know,
you couldn't appreciate
it. It was amazing, but it's like one of those that it's like tainted for me by the people, by the situation around it.
By the hype.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that always makes me cry. Like I could not be watching it. My kids could be watching it and I could be like doing stuff around the house and that scene comes and it will stop me and I will stand there and watch the toys brace themselves to be burned and I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna die. Like
it's
every
so
time.
brutal.
It is. It's
really
awful.
Brutal. That's one of the movies that I don't think it's actually a fun movie to watch.
It's
just
really
because of that scene.
It's really not.
Yes,
It's
that's
really
what I thought.
not.
That's why.
But the movie is fun.
a great
that
movie.
That last scene is not fun. But
so
the
I just
movie's
stop
fun.
right before that scene happens
But the
and I go
movie-
on with
To
my
like
but
Phoebe's
you're-
mom and just fast forward.
But
sister.
all I'm saying is that the movie's fun, except at the end there's always that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. Like I think the moment the movie definitely builds to that moment and it makes
But
sense.
it's a fun movie.
And it's a fun movie, but
And
That
Buzz
movie
talking
gave
in
us.
Spanish.
Yeah, I was just about to say that movie gave us Spanish-speaking buzz, and that
Okay.
was great.
but I don't know if but it's in the same in my opinion. It's like how Up is fun after like
The first 10 minutes.
Yeah, after the first 20 minutes. So Toy Story for me, whatever. So it took me 20 minutes to get through it. so Toy Story for me is
I
the
know what you're
reverse that I can't. It's too real. It's too much.
I
too
started
real.
getting suspicious of Pixar.
Living toys about to burn is too real.
Thinking of all my friends that if we were in that situation and I'm watching my friends about to die with me and we're all holding hands.
No, we wouldn't be holding
Give me
hands.
the chocolate
We
ice
wouldn't-
cream, bro.
We wouldn't be holding hands.
Well, no, I would have pushed
Neri would be running away.
Yeah,
Neri would be throwing you in front of the danger.
He'd be making jokes like, "Hey guys, is it hot in here? Or is it just us?"
It's a good joke.
God, yeah, that's pretty accurate. I will say.
Yeah, I was trying to think of a better one. I'm like, no, that's a good one.
Nice.
Hey guys, if you can't send the heat, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, we'd be telling him to shut the fuck up like moments before we die. Like,
I mean, that's why I would want to die with you people because it'd be fun. Like I'm dying, but you know, haha, I guess.
Oh, that movie also had us Ken and the Ken Dream House with his closet of clothes.
Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
That Ken was so
Yeah.
great.
Again, I love.
I started getting suspicious of the Toy Story of the Pixar people, like being like at this point it's almost like a battle between me and the Pixar storytellers. where are they going to get me, man? I'll tell you exactly when. In Toy Story 2, when they do the sad Sarah McLachlan song for the what's her name?
Jesse.
Oh,
Jesse.
yeah.
You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Okay. That was brutal.
Yes.
And then at that point, anytime like I think like I'm gonna watch a Pixar movie, I'm always like, all right, where's it gonna be? You know, like
I just picture Mike like
when are you gonna drop it?
Fist clenched, looking around, looking side to side, like where the fuck is it coming from? Where's it coming from?
Yeah, I'm very paranoid about the Toy Story.
like a Call of Duty video game, but it's a Pixar movie.
Yeah,
It got me from
that's
the
the
back.
level of
Fucking, they sniped me. They fucking sniped me with feelings.
that's
how
the
I
level
felt
of
with one
intensity
the
I go
movies.
into the theater. I go watch those movies by myself, and all those other kids are all suspicious.
He's that creepy man in the last row.
Don't you look at me, children. Don't you look at me.
He's got a hat and sunglasses on.
I'm trying to cry in peace.
Yeah. Don't look at adults, children.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good pick.
So
Yes.
Toy Story 3 is my number 3. So for number 3, we had WALL-E, Inside Out, Monsters Inc., and Toy Story 3. All right, moving on. Oh, sorry.
Round 2.
Dos, the sequel to Uno.
Oh my god, I'm so
All right.
excited to go first after these things.
Are these getting longer? Are they longer now?
They're all 10 to 11 seconds.
Okay.
It all depends.
Mike's just getting impatient. He's like, all right, already, Nary, get it.
No. I just remember way back in the Woobro, the inceptions of Woobro, when I was doing an intro with like a lot of different film clips. It's like, bro, you can't make it so long. It's just going to be a bunch of sound clips. And I'm like, that's literally what this whole show is. From the intro to the segments in between, I'm like, you have changed.
He's evolved.
Well, all I was saying is that you can't make the intro too long because I want to get to the talking and then us making sound effects with our within the show. That's all I meant. With our voices.
But now we have
With
a
our
fancy.
mouths.
Yeah.
We have a new toy that I sent you a picture.
I'm pretty sure.
You give the guy the ability to do it, and then suddenly the rules change, huh? I see how it is.
Tyrant.
All right, what are we doing?
All right, I go first.
Yes.
Let me go first because I love those intros. My number 3 is Coco.
No.
Number 2.
Oh,
Number
sorry.
2.
Number 2 is Coco. I got my my second glass of wine. My number 2 is Coco.
My number 2 is also Coco, and I struggled between putting it at number 2 or number 1.
So Coco.
Is it because we're Latinos?
No,
that we put it on our mountain.
Well, yes, for me, yes, but that's the second
No, not
reason.
for me.
The first reason was the grandparent theme.
Yeah,
because holy shit, did that make me ugly?
Oh my god, that kicked me in the stomach. I was like expecting to, when I first saw the grandma and he was like explaining.
What's the grandma's name?
Grandma.
Coco.
Why did you say that name?
Jesus Christ.
I
can see the label. I can see the label.
By the way, he asked you, and I saw the glow, and I'm like, it's coming. Something's coming.
I know. I saw it too, and I was like, "Why you know this fucking? It's the hell's wrong with you?
Where are you leading me, sir? Go ahead.
Fucking fell for it.
I could hear the delay in him asking that question, meaning that he already found the button.
Yeah.
Like he was like looking for Louis. What was the name? What was her name?
Yeah.
So
that movie is great. But which part are you talking about? Are you talking about when?
The Remember Me.
So I was already sad.
The very, very end.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the beginning. I was already sad a little bit in the beginning because the grandma with
the beginning is the only
Alzheimer's,
part that got me. Is the beginning.
Because
of the fact that
of the story.
Oh, the story and the whole paper mache.
It's fine.
And I'm sorry, you were saying. But you brought up the beginning, and I'm talking about the beginning. But go ahead, you were saying. You go.
I said I was already prepared to be sad from the beginning because of the grandmother and her medical condition. Because I went through the same thing with my grandfather, and I watched him forget things and deteriorate, and that was awful. So I was already like, damn, this is
I have that in my family too.
Yeah.
Mine too.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us, that's very common, unfortunately. And so I was kind of prepared for that.
Right. Aside from all of that stuff, though, I love the twist in the middle of it, where they reveal the villain, the actual villain of the story, that the dude. Where So the reason why I was going to talk about it before, but I put it on my list, is that I watched this in chunks. Like I watched it on my break at work, and when it got to the Remember Me part with the tears flowing, I was on my break at work, and I had to go back to work. And everyone's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "His allergies are bad." Oh boy, like my voice was still quivering. It was gross. That's not running everything.
Yeah. That was me, during that moment, and then for about 20 minutes after the movie ended, I was just because personally, if we're gonna go into where I related the most, the sick grandparent for sure, but for me, my grandparents are it. It's the pinnacle of my... Yeah. So to watch, such a sweet moment at the very end. I think the whole movie,
the whole movie is spectacular.
For me, primarily, I think Coco, and I'm if I want to think about my grandparents, that's what I want to watch. But I think also it was great. I didn't know anything about the Day of the Dead, at all.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. Mm-hmm. This was a PBS special, but Pixar did it. So... I was really
I get fancy that. PBS special.
Yeah, and I just loved the concept of the theory or, you know, whatever, the whole thing, the whole idea behind Dia de los Muertos, where it's like you cross over, you can connect and with people that you've lost or whatever. I think I had.
And your family's waiting for you.
Yeah. And I think I had seen it around the time, like my godmother had passed away too. So it was just like not a good time to have seen this movie. But,
the anti-music lady.
Correct. So I think that, it was just a great, and then the kid, I just love the whole story. And I also like that thing where they flipped it, where you think the hero becomes the villain.
Yeah.
Parentheses, Khaleesi. And so I just think that's a really interesting twist. So, I clung on to this movie, and it's such a sweet, sweet movie. And, you know, that's why it's my
So like, I kind of saw that twist coming, not to be that person, but I kind of saw that twist coming, but it didn't take anything away from the movie for me. Like, the whole traveling musician thing got to me because I'm on the side of, like, my husband is traveling, and I know that the kids are suffering because they want to see him, and he's, like, following his dreams. So that was, like, a kick in the face. And then this movie made Sophie cry.
In the heart, not the face.
No, it was like a kick in the teeth. The amount of tears that I had was like someone punched me.
Yeah,
but
you get puffy.
This movie made, well, how old was she? Like 5 or 6 when this movie came out? This movie made her cry. Oliver fell
Younger than 6.
Oliver fell asleep, so he doesn't count.
She's 7 now.
Coco came out in November 2017, so she must have been like...
She was 7.
Yeah.
No, she was 6.
She was 6.
It made my
I'll tell you
6-year-old
what got
cry.
me
She
on
just
that one.
turned 6.
Yeah, she had just
It
turned
was
6.
The voice acting for the boy. I don't know the actor's name, but that kid was great.
And it was Fulano de la Tal.
Yeah,
I actually think according to the Wikipedia page, I think his name is actually Anthony Gonzalez. So very unique name.
Yeah, no, but that kid was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid was great, and I loved the music in it too because like there's a lot of like just to cover everything. As a non-believer, I loved this story of like of the afterlife, of like the traditions that you tell people to keep them alive in your memory and all that stuff. I loved that. I genuinely enjoyed hearing Spanish and Spanglish and like Hispanic accents and stuff like that. Like I do think it's a cop out to like always
him with the flip flop.
Yeah,
relatable.
That's like a universal Latino. But I do think that a lot of like big companies and stuff, they cop out by saying, "Oh, we're inclusive to the Latino community," and then everything's Mexican. I think it's a 100% a Mexican story, Day of the Dead, et cetera. But I do think like they cop out sometimes and just be like, yeah, we'll make it Mexican. All the Latinos will be happy. And I'm like, well, fine, whatever. It was still okay. Then the part at the end with the singing, whatever, the what got me was that kid's performance of the song when he's singing the song.
Oh my God, fucking die.
And he's singing the song, and you see her like reacting to it. That's super fun, especially when, like, in my own family and when I was working in the hospital and stuff like that, I would see music, like, trigger people into, like, animation. Like, they would, like, wake up. It was lethal. And I was in a hospital on my break watching this, and I was just sitting there, like in public, like in a little corner. I must have looked like Dracula with, like, my shoulder up, like, hey!
Don't look at me!
Don't look. Avert your eyes. I was trying to hold it together. I even would pause it to, like, regain some composure and then put it back. I went back to work, and they were like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I must have had an allergic reaction to something.
I ate a fly. And I'm fine.
A bee went up my nose. It's okay."
Yeah, or something. I was just pretending. It's like, they got to fix the air. They got to clean the air conditioners. It's dusty in here.
I was cutting some onions.
Yeah.
So to a few things. One, the beginning of this movie is really there's 2 parts that get me in this movie, and it's the very beginning and towards the very end. Not even, somewhere in the middle. It's the very beginning when he's telling the original story of the family he left to go pursue music, and he never came back. That killed me as a entertainer myself, who is often leaving. To see the fact that his wife got mad at him.
The aftermath,
the aftermath, that floored me. And I wouldn't say floored me, but it got me. I was like, oh fuck! I'm like, God damn it, Pixar, you already? We're gonna start with this shit now?
I'm telling you, you got to be on your head on a swivel in there, man. You got to watch out.
So that got me, and then at the end of the movie, somewhere towards the late middle, I guess, when he finds out when he finds out that Ernesto de la Cruz is not his grandfather or great grandfather, when he finds out that it's this other kid, the other guy, what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name?
The bad guy?
No, the good guy.
Hang on,
the skinny one.
I'm looking it up.
Miguel?
Yeah.
Miguel is the kid.
Miguel is the kid.
Ernesto's the bad guy.
Ernesto's the bad guy. Why am I blanking on his fucking name?
Yeah, I'm blanking on
the character's name?
Yeah.
That's the actual great grandfather?
Yeah.
Papa Julio.
Hector, right?
No. Yeah, Hector. Yeah,
What's his name? Hector?
Hector.
Yeah, Hector.
All right, so there it is. So it's Hector and Ernesto, right? So when we find out that Hector is his actual great grandfather, and he finds out that he wrote "Remember Me," and he says, and Miguel was like, "Oh, remember me." Everybody knows the words to that song.
He's gonna cry now.
And Hector says, "I don't care. I didn't write that song for everybody else. I wrote that song for one person, for my daughter, so she could remember me." Oh God!
Yeah.
He cracked.
God
He
damn.
cracked, Mike. You can't see it, but he cracked.
All right. Anyways, so that's
His eyes are sparkling with
I give him that. Hey, man.
That's
I'm
the
the
scene
one
that got me
that's emotionally connected.
because it was the daughter thing, like the grandparents thing, and I love my grandparents, most of them, but
Most of mommy said. I love the ones I know.
yeah, that's why I said most of them. But it's the daughter connection. It's the connection to father-daughter that got me, and I was like, all right, so
Yeah,
that
you're a classic case of like you had a girl and then suddenly your eyes like opened and you see it everywhere now.
Yeah.
Anything that involves a daddy-daughter thing, like in the Endgame, when we were watching Endgame and you saw her reacting to like Captain Marvel or something like that, and you were like, you know, like you were like clenching up. I was like, yeah, and you're a good example of that daddy-daughter thing.
Yeah, so I have that dumb shit. So
it's not dumb.
There's a tear rolling down his cheek, you guys. Yeah, don't be a dude.
You resent it so much.
Anyway, so my point is that those are the two parts of the movie that I love, and I like that movie a lot. I don't pray to the Church of Coco like most other people do.
Clearly, because it's not on your list.
It's not on my list. It's not even on my honorable mentions.
Divorce, please.
Thank God.
Shut up, you.
Oh wait, there's another part that I loved, and also like when they show that old drunk guy when they're like when the last person forgets about you.
That was so sad.
Yeah.
When it finally happens, it like startled me. Like I was like, oh no. Oh no, he's gone. Like it freaked me out.
Yeah,
I was like, oh my God, that was great.
I love the fact that I kept calling it dead. Oh, he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah, he's not just dead, but he's dead
squared.
Yeah,
he's dead. He's dead squared.
But I love. So I like the movie a lot. There's a lot of things I love about it. I love all the colors about it. I'm a big fan of all the colors. When he's crossing that when he's first crossing the bridge, it's pretty fantastic.
I think
I love Frida Kahlo in it. That was funny.
Oh yes, the Frida.
She's like this crazy
fantastic.
artist. Yeah. It was great.
She was a crazy artist.
So I like. There's a lot of things I liked about it. I don't think it's the end all be all. And again, I'm totally in the minority of that. Like, there's a lot of people that this is the greatest movie, and I'm like, oh, I don't. It's not even my favorite Day of the Dead movie, to be honest with you.
Wait, there's more than one?
Yeah. Assassins with Antonio Banderas and...
wow.
Sylvester
The Book
Stallone.
of Life.
That's your number one.
Nah, no, I'm kidding, of course, but that's the joke. But yeah, Book of Life is another animated movie that came out like 2 years prior to Coco.
Right.
And it's about Day of the Dead. It's not the same thing with the
So
whole...
what is it, like a
Oh, I love
DreamWorks?
that. So
Is that the Guillermo del Toro one?
Yeah.
So I googled the flowers from Coco, and they're marigolds, and it's the. I'm not even going to attempt the Spanish Mexican name because there's too many letters, but it says you'll need lots of them. The scent of the flower lures the spirits home, and at the same time, the flower represents the fragility of life. I love that. That's really sweet.
Oh, our plant lady.
So they're leaves. So they put a bunch of leaves out, which is real cool, man. And
He made it worse.
I hate you both.
anyways, but yeah, so I like the movie a lot. I think it's overrated in the sense of just because everybody rates it super high and I don't rate it super high.
Well, okay.
I don't think
I
it's a
also
bad
feel like
movie.
I hyped it a lot for you.
I think it's a good movie, and I think it's a really good movie. I don't think it's the greatest movie. So this is why I stand for it. It's because its budget was
was 185 and it made over 800 million.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hispanics around in the earth, bro.
Okay, so what I'm saying is
we fucking support.
Right.
We finally get a Disney movie that represents our people. We're gonna fucking go watch it.
right. So what I'm saying is, as I understand, because I'm not a professional, I just, I live on the internet. The rule is if it makes money, they'll make more of it.
Yeah.
So I think this set a standard for the business. You can't say that it's not a profitable, market for you to tell these stories.
Yeah.
And so, I'll take Coco now and then give me something else in a couple.
Sure. Oh, it's I'm not saying it's not groundbreaking. I'm not saying it wasn't good for the culture.
You're just not saying it's not revolutionary.
I'm saying it's not. I'm saying.
Guys, I'm just waiting for the Pixar Chupacabra movie, and then we're good. That's all I want.
That's give me something. Give me
El Cucuy or whatever. Give it all of the folk tales from different Latino countries.
I gotta be honest with you, man. I gotta be honest with you. And this is coming from, and I've said this for years, and I get on my soapbox a little bit when it comes to this topic. I want a real feature-length film, Disney Latina princess. That's what I'm waiting for.
Right.
That's
they have one on television.
Yeah, and they canceled her. So I mean, really,
they did.
Yeah. Not Elena.
Sophia. Sophia's not Hispanic.
That was my thing, that they were trying to pawn her off as Hispanic at first, and I was like,
So what I'm saying is that because this did so well, that we have a chance of, because I don't know what they're working on. Like, all I know is that Onward is coming out next year. I don't know what they have up their sleeve after that, and they take forever to make these movies. So I'm just hopeful
they're supposed to be going a year.
That it takes a year now?
No, it takes
they release one a year.
They release one a year. They have one working on. They're working a couple.
So according to the Pixar Wikipedia page, there's Onward and another one that's coming out next year, and then that's it for upcoming.
And then there's 3 that are TBD.
And there's 3 untitled ones.
Untitled.
Yeah.
So we don't know about them. They haven't released, but they're already working on. So next year, when the other one comes out, they'll announce that.
Gotcha,
so they have multiple projects, but it's usually one every year. The one that kind of stopped that, I think, was The Good Dinosaur, because that's the first one that did not make the mark.
Right.
And then the following year was the year that we got 2 Pixar movies in the same year.
Right.
And so,
what I read was that their goal is to do one new movie. So basically, it's 1.5 movies every year, including a sequel to something. So they're working on original stories, and then also like Incredibles 2 came out, while they were doing the other ones. They're working on sequels. I think they got burned out by Cars 2 and Cars 3, not doing well. So yeah. Ka-chow! Or whatever the catchphrase is.
Yes, you were correct.
But yeah, they're cranking them out. The thing is, it's going to be Onward, which is that elf movie, in a van or something like that. It's like a weird fantasy movie. And then there's Soul, which I don't know too much about, but I know it's going to be another music one, which I like the music one.
Me too.
Yeah, both of those. There's Onward coming out March of next year, and then after that, Soul comes out June of next year. And then there's as you guys are saying, there's 3 to be determined. One that comes out 2021, and then 2 that are scheduled for 2022. So I'm hoping we made money for you. You know what I mean? Give me something else. Give me another story. We deserve it. So.
Well, until we get a Latina Disney princess,
you're not gonna.
My breath. That's the benchmark.
What would you name her? Real quick. 1, 2, 3, go.
Raquel.
A Latino princess named Raquel.
Carolina.
Carolina's way better.
I like that. You just put me in a spot, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
I was gonna go selfish and go Sophia and be like, no.
They already have one.
I know, and then it's my.
But maybe it could be Sophia based on Sophia, the one that lives here.
She is a princess.
Well, they should make it straight up Princess Zoila or Princess Esperanza.
Consuela.
Consuela. Yeah.
Princess Yusnavi. Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
For that
Princess Marislati or whatever.
God.
Yeah.
Stephanie with an E and a Y.
You can take the boy out of Miami.
You Marilinda or whatever.
Marislati.
Marislati.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. So
yeah, that's what I want.
It's the whole thing with the one day at a time thing that we were talking about. It's like,
Yeah, Netflix, bring it back. Please.
yeah, everyone was so pissed because they're Puerto Ricans paying Cubans, but who fucking cares? Like, I'm getting
It
the
was still
story.
Cuban
Just take
stories.
the win,
Yeah,
man.
take
It's a
the win for
Hispanic.
now, and then
Take the
like
fucking win.
you know, and now Mr. Iglesias on Netflix is fucking great.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
looks great.
FYI,
The
you guys
trailer
should
looks
watch it.
amazing. No, the trailer looks
Which
great.
one?
It's the one the Gabriel Iglesias sitcom from Netflix. It looks.
Oh,
really,
yeah.
It looks really good, man. But I'm a fan of both Gabriel and
Netflix.
sitcoms. I just like sitcoms.
Yeah, yeah.
I like Netflix. BFF.
Yeah. Right here. So yeah, that's
All right, so we got that. So that's so the number to recap. The
Did you give your number?
Wait, I didn't say mine.
I didn't. That's right. We've been talking about Coco this whole fucking time.
We just did Coco this whole time.
Why are
Damn,
you so
I didn't
angry?
even
Coco's
get mine.
representation
You didn't say yours either.
bro.
I know. I'm skipping over me. All right.
And Mike.
Yeah.
Mike didn't say his number 2.
He doesn't care about me.
Yeah, but
Who cares about
the fact
I
that
care about you, Michael.
If I'm skipping over me, what does
Thank
that
you.
tell you? That tells you that I'm not even like I'm that lost. All
That
right,
means that Coco is also your number 2.
Mike.
My number 2 is The Incredible.
Oh, great pick, man! I love that
Yes,
movie.
that's
Yeah.
a good movie.
Yeah.
good movie.
I love that.
No table?
no
Nope.
table.
No, I love that movie, man.
interesting.
It's really fucking good. Honestly,
The first one was such a good superhero movie, such a good family movie. It was incredible. The style
It was
of it
incredible?
was super fucking cool. It was incredible. Mrs. Elastigirl's got a big old ass. It was right up my alley.
that's
Yeah.
my thing.
No. Yep.
So I don't have to ask Mike what his preference is.
Oh, no, he's-
Oh, no, we know.
Huh?
We're all
We
last
know.
man.
One time in the car, I asked Neri, "This is
What about both? How about both? ¿Por qué no los dos? Have we
Because-
learned nothing?
Because this is what happened. We were in the car. This is completely off topic, but we were in the car, and I just got curious because I was like, Neri, are you like the question was going to be, are you an ass man or are you a tit man? And before I could finish the man of ass man, he's like ass. So
Well, first of all, what kind of fucking question is that to ask, like, this man who, wait, is this Vanessa talking?
No, it's Missy.
Oh, shit. Okay, thank God. Because it would have been Vanessa asking that. I'd been like, okay, you're just setting him up for failure at this point because there's no answer.
no, yeah, I just
There's no answer
I
he
asked
could give.
questions because he's like I'm learning. So I asked him before I can finish the man and ass man. He's like ass.
She's learning about the male species
Yeah, I
through
don't know
Neri.
much.
But I don't know if that's a good idea.
Oh,
think
boy.
it is. He's
Yeah, good lord.
He set the standard. So anyway, go ahead. The lady has
That's
a
when
fat
the girl
ass.
turns around and he doesn't have an ass. She doesn't have an ass. That's the noise that goes off in Neri's brain.
Well, I wouldn't even be talking to her until I see that ass first. And then
Oh
we're like,
Lord.
Turn
Okay.
around.
No, we
Okay,
get
now
to-
you can speak.
Fair.
Okay, so the lady, the mom
Wait,
has
I have
a fat
a question
ass.
about Elastigirl. So she can like stretch her body to whatever shape she wants. So does she purposely
There's a
keep
lot
her
of-
ass that
That's a
shape?
squat life, bro.
I think
Look
that, I
at-
think
Is
that
it squat
I
leg?
think that's her natural state. She could stretch it out, but she
can't shrink it.
could shrink it, but she has to.
Bitch, I would.
It takes effort. Like it takes a
I
conscious.
guess.
Shrink your butt. Why would you do that?
Well,
Yeah.
like
Guys,
Bring
just
your hips
go on
in
the
a little
internet
bit.
and look up Elastigirl Rule 34, and you'll see all the anatomy questions you want answered about what you can stretch and what you can't. Because everyone on the internet has taken full advantage of their fucked up minds and art skills to be able to draw whatever the hell they want of this lady.
Oh.
It's disturbing. But also, yeah, like that's like, she talks about like her ass getting fat in it because she's like a mom, like she's
yeah,
like
she does
like a
when
middle-aged
when they're
lady.
making her costume.
She talks about it. But
So besides the
but,
mom with the
yeah,
fat
like-
ass, what else did you like about The Incredibles?
here's the real question. She had 3 kids. Did they just come falling out of her or whatever? Like, did she could
Oh
Could
yes,
you-
this is disturbing, Michael.
yeah. Yeah.
How do I
I've
get
seen
out
this
of
movie
here?
a bunch. No, but I like the what happened? What
I looked
did I
up
change?
Elastigirl Rule 34.
No.
I should not have done that.
She googled.
Yeah,
What
what-
you said to Google.
Do you listen to everything I say? Venmo me $300. I need it.
Sorry, my,
But
mic's
the,
not, my headphones aren't working right now. What?
Yeah. Go look at your incredible porn. No, but I like the story of the guy, like the superheroes having to be like canceled out. The Edna Mode is one of the best characters in that movie. The no capes and
Facts.
that lady,
Amazing.
she was great. The fact that he's like having to work, like he's having to work a job, even though he's like Mr. Incredible, and he's just sitting there getting harassed by like his boss because he can't be the superhero that he wants to be. All of that stuff. And then there's that love triangle. Is he cheating on her? She thinks he's cheating on her with that other hot lady.
Looking at it too.
This is great.
I refuse.
Did I derail the entire thing?
No,
Did you guys not know what this was?
No, I'm paying
I did not know what that was.
I'm paying attention, but
learned
they're
something
learning
new
stuff
today.
on the internet. Go
No,
ahead,
I'm
Mike.
done looking at
Yeah,
it.
it's messed up. It's exciting to see how depraved people on the internet are about.
I don't think you're using the word messed up correctly. I'm looking at this.
You think it's awesome?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I
Fucking
refuse.
awesome.
Also, like you look at that art and you see how good some of these artists are, and you're like, wow, this is what you're doing with your talent. Cool. Okay.
No, I already suffered through an explanation. I asked one time what bukkake was, and I'm still talking to my therapist about it. So I refuse
That's a
to
tough
Google
one.
this. I refuse to Google this.
But Incredibles was also a time when because when it came, what year did Incredibles come out? Because there was kind of like a weird gap in superhero movies where they were falling off.
2008.
Incredibles came out.
Yeah, it was
2004.
Oh fuck!
So right after Nemo, but before Cars.
Right. And at that time, there was only like these super dark superhero movies. And I think the Fantastic Four movies had bombed. And then this movie came out and it's like it's like a really good family superhero movie. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
I love it.
It's fantastic.
Huh?
He's still looking at the Elastigirl porn.
I also like the time period, like the time period that it's set in, like the cars and the fashion and all of that. Like I love
the
that
style. Yeah.
I love it. The car, I like all of that.
I didn't like the story of Incredibles 2 as much as the first one, but the Incredibles 2 had that same dope style.
Yeah, it did.
Tell Neri to stop texting me things. I'm trying to have a
Oh my god, you're such an asshole. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be like, "Hey BFF," like in an hour or two, and I'm gonna be like, "What?" And then I'm just gonna get traumatized all over again.
In an hour, okay.
You're an asshole.
Check your phone now.
No, I gotta
block him.
I gotta block him.
You gotta block him.
I agree with you. I was not crazy about Incredibles 2. I didn't hate it, but I agree with Vanessa where and I think it's the same thing that happened with Finding Dory, where they just took too long to
it did take a long time.
Where like the anticipation of it, like everybody had such a crazy expectation for it that I think it was just impossible for people to be really happy with it because it'd been so long. If they would have jumped on it a little bit sooner, then I think it would have had a better chance. Same thing for Finding Dory, but I think Finding Dory took longer.
Left it alone,
or left it alone.
It had been so long, and at this point, it just feels like they're making all these sequels just to like capitalize on the emotion
Incredibles
and
2
the
was
nostalgia.
good. But that's the thing. It was good. I liked it.
I did not like it.
I liked it. I wanted to love it.
I hated Jack Jack. I think that killed the whole thing.
Oh, I love Jack Jack.
Yeah, they gave him too many. They gave him too many powers, and it was just lazy writing.
I tuned
in my
that
opinion.
out.
I thought the movie was okay. It had some parts that were good on it, but the Jack Jack part really I couldn't let it go. It was really my like
because anytime they needed like a plot device, they would just make the baby have a new power.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened, and it just bothered and it angered me like irrationally so. Like I was just like, oh fuck you, and it like ruined the whole movie for me. And then everybody was like. One of my friends was like, yeah, but the rest of the movie was cool. And I'm like, yeah, I get. Like, I was really like bothered by it.
You were still mad about it.
Yeah, I was still mad
You're
about
like,
it.
Yeah, whatever.
But I still want to be mad about Jack Jack, so I was gonna take it on the rest of the movie. I tuned that part out. I thought it was cool. I thought the Incredicar, what is it, the Incredimobile or something like that? The car that they had, the kids having to save everybody, the hypnotism side of it was cool. But that first Incredibles movie is perfect.
Yeah,
that first Incredibles movie from start to finish is damn near like perfect.
No, I agree. I think it's a great flick.
Stop disputing me, Neri. It's perfect. If you disagree with me one more time. That's not fair. None of us have soundboards.
And he knows exactly what each button does, so I can't even cockblock him and just press something because I don't know what I'm doing. The Incredibles has on Rotten Tomatoes has 97. Incredibles 2 had a 94. So it still ranks pretty high as far as Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
We can't say the same thing about the Cars movies, but I guess that doesn't matter because I don't think.
No, yeah. But that first Incredibles, that's my number 2.
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
Flawless victory.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, listeners. Please don't unsubscribe. We're great.
I don't care. I don't care.
I promise when Neri's not here, it won't be so many sound effects. I promise.
I hope there's somebody listening right now going like, "What the fuck? Keep the sound effects, man."
Tweet at us.
I'm not gonna listen until he's.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's gonna be Neri. He's gonna tweet like, "Don't stop the sound effects."
That's true.
There's going to be a new review on iTunes where it's like, I don't know what these assholes are talking about. Sound effects are awesome. From Neri Saenz Comedy.
Thatguy.com.
Yeah. What was his name?
All right, go ahead.
My number one is
number two.
Number two.
All right.
Are you drinking?
Oh, it got weird again.
My number two. Sorry, listeners, for the slip up. I apologize. I'll handwrite a fucking apology letter to everybody.
You can't make any mistakes.
Is
in an iTunes review.
My number two is Brave.
Nice. Ooh. Plot
table.
Dun dun dun.
You don't have that sound effect. Dun dun dun.
What do we need it for? We just did it flawlessly. It's exactly how it would be in the sound.
Flawless victory.
No, that's not what I did. Anyway.
Okay, wrong one.
That's just me listening to her. All right, so the number twos were Coco, The Incredibles, and Brave. So time for number one.
No, wait.
Round one.
Oh, wait.
We want to do honorable mentions.
Oh,
no?
we do honorable mentions. That's right. I'm sorry.
You don't have a sound for honorable mentions?
I don't have a sound for
like this.
Honorable mentions.
There you go.
You should isolate that.
Where did you get that sound?
That's it. It's in.
I have my own soundboard, guys. Look, this
1
is
hour.
this is a
Exactly
bird.
1 hour.
That's a bird. It's a bird.
Are we outside?
my
What's
own.
happening?
Yeah. There's a motorcycle.
What a shitty ass motorcycle is that?
It's a moped. It's a moped.
It's a dirt bike. It's a dirt bike.
It's being held together by 2 rubber bands and a stick.
Oh man, this is a good time.
All right, so are you gonna do the geek board? You do the geek board, and I'll do my page.
Okay, cool. Give me a second.
Is there somewhere I should look?
Yeah, your wine glass. Just keep drinking.
All right, you know what? You do me. I'm already in the Geekmore page. You do my personal page. So we got Danielle Romero from 4 to 1 has Monsters Inc., A Bug's Life, Toy Story 3, and the original Toy Story.
Bug's Life was on my honorable mention.
Yeah, Jemiah, we're going to get to your honorable mention in a minute. Jemiah has, from 4 to 1, has Cars, A Bug's Life, Incredibles, and Toy Story, with honorable mentions to Coco, Monsters Inc., Up, and Finding Nemo. Carlos Navarrete has, from 4 to 1, has Toy Story, Up, Coco, and Inside Out. Honorable mentions to Finding Nemo, WALL-E, and Cars. Quills, our homegirl Q from the Talking
Trainer
Geek,
to the Stars.
from the Talking Geek podcast,
Or
and
just me and Vanessa.
Morbid Curiosity.
Yeah, the stars.
From 4 to 1 has WALL-E, Toy Story, Monsters Inc., and Finding Nemo.
Respect.
Diego has, from 4 to 1, A Bug's Life, Wreck-It Ralph, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, with honorable mentions Cars 2, Moana. Oh, that's a Disney movie. Diego, Jesus.
It's
Coco, and Toy Story 3. Stephanie Ulloa has Toy Story 2, WALL-E, Inside Out, and Brave as her number 1. Honorable mentions to The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Monsters Inc., Coco. Oh, she put 7. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not reading the rest.
You canceled, bitch.
I'm not reading the rest. Rookie has Cars 3. Oh.
Whoa.
And his number 3
Judging hard, guys.
his number 3 is first 5 minutes of Up, and I guess the rest of it too.
What the?
That's his number 3. Is just like that.
That's a great story. The first 5 minutes of Up is an amazing
What he's
story.
trying to say is that the first 5 minutes of Up made his mountain, and the rest of it was fine, but it was just that's
No,
how
I comprehend.
Right.
I comprehend.
Number 2 was
Does your
Inside.
woman brain let you comprehend that?
Well, I have cramps today, so I don't
okay,
know.
so no.
Under his eye. Number
Bitch.
2 has Inside Out.
Blessed
He has
be the
he has Inside Out for number 2, and his number 1 is Coco. Rodrigo Albarracin. Number 4 has Up. Number 3 has Monsters Inc. Number 2 is Toy Story 3, and number 1 The Incredibles. Kind of disappointed with that last name that he doesn't have Coco anywhere on that list. But
No, I'm just making.
She wants me to turn your hair down.
oh, okay. Andrea Villafana has Cars, Inside Out, Up, and Toy Story with honorable mentions to WALL-E and Coco. And her daughter's list is Cars 1, Toy Story 1, Finding Nemo, and Finding Dory. Honorable mention Toy Story 3. Robert Leatherwood has Inside Out, Coco, Toy Story 3, and WALL-E, which is his favorite animated movie of any kind. And that was it for Geekmore. What do you have on mind?
So your personal page had one comment.
One.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Valerie Gentile Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
She said, that's tough. I've never seen Up, and I've heard that's amazing, so I don't know how good my list is, but her 4 is Toy Story 1. Her 3 is Monsters University. Her 2 is Toy Story 3. And her number 1 is Monsters. And she said Coco would have been number 5, but it's still new. I've seen the others hundreds of times. Well, technically, you couldn't have a number 5, so it was an honorable mention.
Right. Jeff Mercancini has Monsters, Inc. as his number 4. Coco is number 3. The Incredibles. And his number 1 is Toy Story 3. And then David has number 4 as Inside Out. Number 3 is WALL-E. Number 2 is Hot Shit 4. And number 1 is in Crap 2. So that's what he has. His honorable mentions are Up, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, and Brave.
What was number 1?
Crap 2.
How does the rest of the world know that movie?
Incredibles 2. So yes, Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 as number 2, and then Incredibles 2 as number 1, which that's awful. But all right,
I'm surprised Monsters University made it onto somebody's mountain. It was a good movie, but it was like, okay, interesting.
It was good, but it wasn't. They did a Monsters University.
I know, but I'm thinking who had it on their mountain. I don't remember anybody having it.
Someone said it.
Was it Dave?
No, it wasn't Dave.
Monsters Inc. and Monsters University were both on their mountain.
All right, no. So what's your honorable mention?
My honorable mentions are it's Monsters, The Good Dinosaur, and Up.
Nice.
That's it. Vanessa,
Michael?
Mine, Bug's Life. I think it's underrepresented. A lot of people forgot about that movie.
Correct.
I love that movie. Bug's Life. Brave. Because that one, my niece loved it, and I saw it that was like my whatever your daddy-daughter thing was. I saw my niece really respond to it, and I'm like, that's awesome. And it was also a very good movie. And Inside Out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Vanessa.
My honorable mentions are Up, WALL-E, Ratatouille, and Dory, because I love the ocean, and those little otters are so cute.
All right. My honorable mentions are A Bug's Life.
I love Heimlich. The worm.
Oh my god! I just realized Diego has Wreck-It Ralph on there on his mountain. Oh my god!
I'm surprised he didn't. I heard that and I was like, oh, he's gonna make fun of him. I thought you were just reading through everything anyway.
What got me was Moana, but I just realized now that he has Wreck-It Ralph. What an idiot! And
he's got half a mountain.
Hi, Diego.
Yeah. So A Bug's Life, Up, and I think that's it for honorable mentions. I think we're good. Everything else has been kind of talked about. I'm fine. And Monsters Inc. I do agree. Monsters Inc. is pretty fucking beautiful. The whole thing with Boo at the end. That's why I don't like Monsters University, because I got gypped of my sequel. I was like, I want a fucking sequel. I want to know what happens to Boo.
So I think Boo makes a cameo in Toy Story 4.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That she's one of the kids in the preschool.
In Toy Story 3.
No, in Toy Story 4. She's one of the girls in kindergarten.
Toy Story 4 is, the little girl that Andy gives the toys to at the end of Toy Story 3. The Toy Story 4.
Andy.
I did say Andy.
You said Annie.
Okay. I said Bonnie.
Oh, Bonnie. Right.
So Toy Story 4 starts off with Bonnie having to go to a orientation kindergarten day, and in the class you can clearly see a Bonnie, but I hadn't got online to check. But yeah, I think we see her again.
I'm Googling it.
And she has it's not just a flash and that's it.
Wait, but Bonnie's the little girl.
No, Boo.
Boo
has a cameo in Toy Story 4 during Bonnie's first day of kindergarten.
Okay.
It's there. I didn't mean to derail.
All right. So that's honorable mentions. And we're down to number 1, correct?
Yes.
Round
number 1.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
And number 1. Do it. Do it. Come on. Come on.
All right.
I'm gonna hear that bell until Friday of next week. My number one is Inside Out, 2015.
Same as mine.
That was my number
That's my
3.
number 1.
BFF, we
Yeah.
never agree. We
Inside
should
Out.
play the lottery. Inside Out, I think. So I'm of the mentality, going back to my my original like self-imposed rules. I think this movie definitely breaks the cutesy kid story. This motherfucker just showed me a picture of the lady eating her own ass, and now I need to call my therapist tomorrow.
It's not her ass.
Okay.
Even worse.
Can you cut this out? Because it totally killed my vibe, you bastard.
No, but
Okay, Inside Out is definitely cuts out of the cutesy kid story little box. I think
it's Leslie Knope as an emotion.
Well, I was getting there, but yeah.
I said it first.
And I think, in my opinion, I think just being around so many little kids, like not like from friends or whatever, and also my little cousins, I feel like this movie is a movie that should be shown at the end of every kid's 5th grade school year, because everything changes for them the next school year. I feel like it would be a great, like a very, obviously juvenile way of explaining emotions and mental health. It, of course, stars Amy Poehler as Joy. And I think that I cannot watch this. Like, I made the mistake, Mike, you watched it at work. I watched Inside Out at work today. And it was a...
Who's your friend who likes to play?
No.
No.
That moment, like...
that's the
obviously-
saddest scene in Pixar, and I would say in any animated movie. As far as one scene, not a sequence.
Bing Bong is
Bing Bong, that was brutal.
One scene, that scene was so brutal. I cry every fucking time.
I cried today at 2:15. I know.
When I tell you every time, I mean, there was a time where my kids were watching it over and over and over again, and I was just like, every time, I was like, God damn, another hour and a half later, here we go again. And it was just, it was brutal, and that scene
Mommy, why are you crying?
Yeah.
Why are you crying, Mommy?
I'm cutting onions. You're eating a peanut butter sandwich.
You're sitting on a couch, bitch.
I think the voice actors in this movie are great. I know that every movie has a voice actor, but I guess I'm so much more familiar with the body of work of the voice actors in this movie, at least the main ones. I love when they flash into like the adults, like the dad when they're at the dinner table.
The adults' feelings are the best.
Yeah, and like the mom,
especially the mom.
The mom's feelings
should have gone with that helicopter.
I personally feel like, again, going back to like that, it relates to a adult as well, like me. Just learning about your emotions and like having such a very juvenile way of explaining emotions was great. I think refreshing, especially in 2015. So, and I guess the thesis of the movie is basically like not one emotion is bad or good. They have to work together in order for you to be okay. And like it you cannot have joy without having sadness, and vice versa, which that cracks me like every single time. So like today when joy and sadness pressed the button on the console together, and my boss is like, so I'm leaving early. I'm like, okay, see you tomorrow. Like, I could not turn around. I was like, I'm typing up this email. Can't turn around. Like, it was just brutal. But I love this movie. I think the message is
You know
great.
what the trick is there? You have to pretend to sneeze. And then everything's fine. Then you can cover your face. You can do other stuff. You're still looking at Elastigirl.
No, he's doing something.
No, he's looking up Bing Bong.
I'm looking up the Bing Bong.
But we're hearing it in the Bluetooth.
Oh, well, that's the whole point.
Well, I'll say one of my favorite things about that movie is also like the design of everything. Like when she's a baby, there's like a button, and then as she gets older, there's like more controls to go through. And then at the end, there's like a whole new thing, like a more complicated control thing. I thought it was great. Like,
what's puberty, right?
Huh?
When he goes, what's puberty? And it was puberty.
Yeah.
And
We don't have to worry about that. She's 12. What could go wrong? Well, that's why I'm saying pay for the 5th graders.
I love the boys' emotions too. When he's like, "Oh, girl, talk to us! Yeah, girl, talk to us!" And he's like freaking out. It's so great.
My favorite is that the cat.
Yes,
my favorite is they go inside the cat. They go inside the cat.
Yes,
and
the
it's just
cat's
more
emotions are so great.
There's just more cats in there.
Cats are awesome.
I love cats.
The island.
That was a good one. I like the representation of it. I do think a lot of those movies like Okay, like I compare it to like, and there's a movie called The Edge of 17. Have you seen that one?
Not yet, but I want to.
Whatever her name is.
Heard of it.
It's basically like a lot of movies about like girls in high school. They just make them like it's about all this crazy stuff, but they don't really talk about mental health at all. Like it's like these people are undiagnosed. Like these people need to talk to somebody.
Correct.
Like there's something for real going on in these movies. And then they kind of are like dismissive of it and like, oh, it's just crazy teenage girl shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I like that in this one, they like see her kind of like, like letting her emotions control her as opposed to the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. Like it was good. And yes, I cried at Big Bang.
Oh my God.
If you didn't cry at Bing Bang, you have no soul.
Stephanie didn't cry at Big Bang.
Yeah.
That scene is just so brutal, and like just because I hadn't seen it in a while, so I forgot that they try, and then on the very last he just jumps off. I forgot about that, so it was like watching it for the first time today. I was like, no, not Bing Bong, not again. And then it hit me when he's like evaporating. I'm like, this is fucking Infinity War all over again.
When he says, "You take care of her, you make sure."
Here's Sophie calling me. I'll be right back.
You want to know? Here's something even more depressing. Imagine what the inside-out version of Nana Coco's brain looked like.
Oh my God! Stop it.
Well,
right?
Okay.
I would love to have seen like that interpretation of like what's going on in there with as she's like losing her memories, and then all of a sudden, imagine he's playing the song and then cut.
What if it's all a big party in her head? Like she's like,
but
and like, all this
no, but like
Jesus Christ.
I mean, yeah, but also like imagine like when Miguel's playing the song and all of a sudden the machines start turning back on, and as all you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like that would have been super cool.
That's like a Quentin Tarantino.
If I have bad dreams tonight, I'm calling you, Michael. I'm blaming you. If I have bad dreams tonight, it's your fault.
Well, I've blocked all your numbers, so I've learned my lesson.
Flawless victory.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's my number.
Yeah.
Neri, do you want to add more to it?
No,
you don't want to cry?
Inside Out, I mean,
I love the moody unicorn in the dreams.
I would love to see a sequel from the boy's perspective. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I heard that we're going to do one. I heard that we're going to do an Inside Out that's basically like
there should
from
be a boy version.
like a high school boy. Like he's like I heard they were going to do
much. That's too graphic for Pixar. That's too graphic for Pixar.
That should be a rated R movie.
Yeah, that should be really.
And
then Deadpool shows up in it, and he's like, "Let's fuck everybody." And I'm like, "Oh God, it's
coming to Disney Plus. It's R-rated.
Yeah.
You need a password.
Yeah, teenage boys should not be talked about in the Disney
NC-17.
format.
Yeah. That's right. Like, okay, maybe then 11 on the cusp of middle school.
Yeah, just like Riley.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah,
we don't need high school. Like, it's like it would be so like you know what I mean. It's one of those things where you go, no, that's not
like
what high school boys.
Food, boobs. All right, 45 minutes of this. Can we think about something else?
And then the dream sequences would be very fucking different.
Hold on a second.
Well, now you just ruined my whole pitch.
All right.
Jesus.
Here's one of the things. That's so super dismissive of like boys. Like that's so like reductive of like thinking that is a problem that everybody assumes that boys don't have emotions. Yes, you asshole.
Yes, we have.
Smile more. You look prettier.
Well, we have.
That was Vanessa, just in case.
I'll take credit for that.
But that's so. What I'm saying is that like making it of like, oh, all boys think about all this stuff. It's like, yeah, but girls like think about that shit. Like the assumption that there's not a depth of emotion to boys. You have a son too. You know, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that kid's just.
Yeah, he does karate and grabs his penis. It's fine. I know what he likes.
But right now, what he's trying to say is eventually,
as a kid.
Eventually.
I'm just saying that Inside Out with a boy shouldn't be treated any differently because you assume that the kid's going to be, quote unquote, gross.
Did the little girls hurt your feelings?
Oh,
Michael?
stop it! You're being wow. This is really.
I haven't had wine in a long time.
Jesus.
Vanessa's been drinking a lot, so don't mind her.
Yeah.
That's bong bong dying.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
Whatever.
Wow.
So here's what I would say to that. And I agree with you, Mike. I think that it would be interesting. I think it would be only fair because I think, okay, so going back to your argument, yeah, the moment where the girl and the girl and at the end where she's going to go play hockey, and she like crosses paths with a guy, and we jump into the guy's mind, and he's like, girl, something else, whatever. That's like a millisecond. I feel like we should give a little bit more credit. So that's what I'm saying. It would be interesting for there to be a version.
I agreed from the beginning. I think that would be great.
Both movies should be played during 5th grade, right before everyone goes to middle school, because
human growth and development.
Because nothing ever, like, you have to understand, like, for kids, I mean, in my opinion, I'm just watching it because I'm watching my little cousins grow up, but like, elementary school is they're normal, and it's never gonna be like that ever again. Like they get 3 years of middle school and then 4 years of high school, and college for sure is nothing like that. So I feel like I'm just thinking of like 5th grader Missy would have really appreciated like, oh, okay, this is what's happening, and I would have understood a little bit better.
Can we just talk about the fact that Riley stole a credit card and nobody said shit? Was nobody batted an eyelash at identity theft? Nobody?
Well, I mean, she stole from her parents. She gave it back.
And it's not like she didn't steal like a random person off the street's credit card.
Okay.
I'm sure her parents addressed it. Her parents seem like good parents.
No, they put broccoli on pizza, bro.
No, they didn't. San Francisco did.
Not the parents.
You ruined pizza, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Louis Blackett's anger is everything in life.
What I was saying about the thing before, though, like of the having a movie of like a boy dealing with the stuff. And dismissing it right away of like, oh, blah, blah, blah. That's the same thing as if you would say like, oh, I'm going to make a thing about a high school girl who does nothing but Barbie and wants to be this prom queen and all that stuff. It's like very, it's like diminishing, you know?
Some
it's like
guys like
dismissive.
Poetry. It's true. We should see a range of...
Or individuals have completely separate existences from each other. You know what I mean? Like
That's
as a
true.
boy, you're not like, you're not, that's like if in that movie, all they did was compliment her about how pretty she was. Oh, look at that dress and all that stuff. Meanwhile, she's a hockey player. You know, like she likes playing hockey.
Yeah.
Like I think it would be interesting like, if they, you know, like if they would do something about a boy thing. Like your instant reaction was, it's probably why it's a girl, not a boy, because your instant reaction for like a middle school boy would be like, oh, he's probably going to be picking his ass and peeing on things or whatever. You know?
No, not middle school
also
boy.
not really wrong.
Not middle school boy. High school boys are just it's too much. It's too much. We're just, and I get it. Some boys, not all, we're painting with broad brushes here, but high school boys do think about sex a lot. Like, a lot. And even when
I
we're
also
not
think it's like a denial to think that all of these teenagers, plural, multiple genders,
but here's the thing,
are thinking about fucking.
Even if we're not thinking about fucking, we're thinking about something that's going to lead to fucking. Or that we think is going to lead to fucking. Like,
Boobs
if I take this class... then I'll meet a girl and then we can fuck. You know what? I'll take drama because girls are taking drama and then we can fuck. Like it's all related to.
I could take home ec and we could fuck. Boobs and food.
Yeah.
I don't think home ec exists
Put it in a
anymore.
bar.
Yeah, it does.
I'm sure it does.
Is it like rebranded as something else now?
1, 2, and 3. I took all 3.
Shut up.
I wanted to be a chef.
To fuck.
Absolutely.
So you want to be a chef?
I wanted to be a chef. So
He
I could
wanted
fuck.
to bake.
Didn't you do classes? You did a course. You did all that.
I did food production 1, 2, and 3, and then in my senior year, I went for half the year. My junior year, half the day, I went to Robert Morgan Technical Institute to do baking.
So make me something.
I've been asking for a cake for 37 years.
Make your
and
wife
I haven't
something.
gotten
Boring.
Oh.
So
legit thought that was Mike screaming boring.
I was like, wait a minute, sir. But
That's
anyway,
what you get for dismissing my Inside Out sequel
listen,
idea.
You're triggered and you need to calm down.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
But I do. Yes, I would agree that it would.
What's worse, me being triggered or you being drunk?
Hey, me being drunk is fun. I'm fun.
Not right now,
For you.
but later.
Yeah.
Oh boy, no. I want to go now. Anyway, so Inside Out.
So Inside Out is my number 1.
That's your number 1?
Yeah.
No, wait, and my number 1 too.
And Missy's number 1 as well.
Vanessa, hit me.
My number 1 is Brave.
Nice.
Brave is fantastic.
I haven't seen that movie enough to really have an opinion about it.
It's the only
I'll
only Pixar movie that I have downloaded on my iPad. I have other movies downloaded on my iPad, but it's the only Pixar movie that I have downloaded on my iPad.
So, question.
Oh, I think I have Coco as well, but that was for the kids for the road
Okay,
trip.
so talk about Brave, and then I'll ask you my question.
I love Brave. Number 1, I love that both of her parents are still alive because
Huge plus for that's a huge win in the Disney category.
like she has both of her parents.
The fact that that's a plot twist in a Pixar movie is something to talk about. But anyway.
Also an Inside Out, now that we think about it. Inside
This
Out
is
also
true.
has both
She
parents.
does have both of her parents, but she's not a princess.
You're right.
She is in her heart. Never.
No, she's a hockey player. She's not a princess.
Go ahead.
But I love that it's like a real life struggle between a mother and a daughter. Like those fights that you have, like the mom wants you to be one thing and you just like, as a daughter, want to be your own, but you don't want to like hurt your mom's feelings. You don't want to disappoint her. So they're like constantly butting heads, and it's just, it's great. Like she's not the typical princess. She likes horseback riding. She likes archery. She like is a little bit more tomboyish than your typical
hair's
princess.
crazy.
Her hair is wild and amazing. It's like this big bush of like red and orange. Her hair is huge. Like it is. It's a mane more than hair.
I remember enjoying the visuals, like the style of that movie. As these movies progress, the technological advancements like get better. Like when Sully had all of her, it was like a big deal. And then like with Brave with her hair, and then also with when spoiler alert, her mom turns into that giant bear.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That was like
I cry every time with that.
Yeah, that movie always hits me in the feels. Like and I love her little brothers, the triplets, and I know one of them is named Hamish. Like that's the only name I can remember. But I love that they also turn into little bears, and it's like it's the Will-o'-the-Wisps. Yeah. They're so again, this movie is just so stunning. It's so beautiful.
I haven't seen that one in a while. I have to watch it again. I was saying that was like the first movie I saw my niece Luna react to, like where she was empowered by it. She wanted to do all of the things. You know what I mean? Like she wanted to shoot a bow and arrow and all that stuff. I was where I saw her react to it. I'm like, oh, she's seeing representation. I was like, that's cool. I remember that being like an early thing.
Like this one and Tangled, I think kind of came out around the same time. I want to say Tangled came out first.
Tangled came out in 2010. I know because I watch it a lot. Let me look up Brave.
Brave was 2009, if I'm not mistaken.
Brave was 2012.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So 2 years apart.
Okay, well, that's kind of around the same time. But like these two movies like led, I feel like, the revolution with the princesses being more empowered, because like Rapunzel is like, I want to get out of this tower. I want to go like explore, and she's the one that like turns all the guys in the tavern around, and they're all friendly. And the same thing with Merida. She's like, she tries to change her fate by giving her mom this cake, and then her mom ends up turning into a bear, of all things, a bear. And her dad hates bears.
She's a mama bear.
Yeah, she's a mama.
Right, her dad has like bear heads on the wall.
He is killing all these bears because the bear. There's that one bear that like took his leg. So he is killing all the bears to try to kill the one bear that took his leg.
This is how much I have not watched. I watched the movie once, so hearing you talk about it, I'm like, holy shit, that did happen. Like I have not.
It's a great movie. What I love about this movie is that it's one of the very few movies, even now, that I could think of that has to deal with mother-daughter.
Yeah,
it's usually father-daughter or daughter-son, but it's usually father-daughter.
Yeah,
and this is coming from, obviously, I'm not a mom, and when we saw Brave, we didn't even have any kids.
We didn't, and we cried.
No,
2012.
Yeah, you had
Sophie was born.
Sophie was born. Okay.
Yeah, she was a baby. That's why you were crying.
But I think I love the fact that it has to do with mother-daughter. Like I love the fact that it has to do with that bond.
And,
because I don't think that relationship gets explored enough in movies.
Brave and Tangled were the mommy issues.
That's why I relate those two movies like.
And both of those movies are about the protagonist bucking the system. Like I'm going to go against what I've been told my entire life. And one of them is in a tower, and I've been told my entire life that the world is dangerous, and I'm going to buck the system and go out on my own. And the other one is tradition. It's just the way tradition is. Princesses, and when you're a princess,
like you're supposed to act
just the way you're supposed to act. And she's like, "Fuck that noise! I'm going to do my own thing."
And she like fights for her own hand. Like there is this whole ceremony / competition where all the other clans are coming together and presenting their number one guys to win her hand. And she's like, fuck that. I'm going to fight for my own hand. And she wins her own hand.
Okay, fine. I'll watch it again.
I will say I do love the Scottish accents in this movie.
I do. I love that. And
it's so good.
I love that. Like, if you're familiar with like Scottish tradition, each clan has its own tartan, like its own plaid. And I believe, and I think Stephanie is probably yelling at her radio right now, but I believe that Merida's family's clan was specially created for them. Like it's not one that already existed. Mm-hmm. They made a special plaid just for them, and now it is an official family plaid.
For Pixar, you mean?
Right? No, like they did it, and they created a new one for them. Like it's real now.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I thought that was.
Well, it's kind of like it's the Dothraki is a language that was created. And it's now a real, like, you can actually study Dothraki. I don't know why you would want to.
Well, like,
just
you
like
can,
Klingon. You can learn fucking Klingon. Klingon's a real language.
That's been around since Klingon, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay.
Right, but it's like, this is like a very old Scottish tradition. Like, it's a real thing that existed before.
Yeah, because it even exists in Outlander, and Outlander is based on real life.
Is Outlander a historical document?
Of course it is.
It is when I watch it.
God,
guys, do you remember the historical text of Highlander where Sean Connery plays a Spaniard?
Yes. That could only be one.
Yeah. So now I'm bummed that I haven't paid more attention to Brave, because I feel like it has the same vibe as Tangled, and I love Tangled. That's one of the reasons.
But the mom's not
it's
evil.
More intense.
The mom is not evil. The mom is actually very loving and very caring, and she's trying to prepare her daughter for the future, for her future as a queen, as a wife, as a lady, as like the leader of, like, they're trying to bring these 4 clans together to create a stronger country. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's also a political move that she needs to be a certain way, just like we see the royals. It is royalty. Right. But it's Scottish
like
royalty.
Tangled Rapunzel's more of like
psychological bullshit.
Yeah, she's like held captive for so long that she just wants to. She's like, "What's this? What's that?" And she's like kind of like loopy and goes off and like
and
wants
naive.
to explore.
She's just naive.
Yeah, she has no idea what's going on. But with Merida, she's like literally seeking like independence. Like, fuck all this, you know. Like that
she's like way more self-aware.
So they have,
yes,
and they have a different tone.
She like her and her mom as a bear. She learns from her mom, and her mom also learns from her. Like, her mom is starting to realize, like, hey, all of these skills that, like, these wilderness skills that my husband is teaching my daughter are also important. Like, she knows how to survive in the wild. She can, fend for herself. She can, hunt and gather, and she can, like, do all these things. And she's able to help her mom, and they're able to survive literally in, like, the forest for a couple nights before they can figure out how to turn her mom back.
So isn't it, and again, I haven't seen this movie in forever, but isn't like, don't her siblings turn into bears too?
Yeah, because she goes to...
They eat the pie too.
Yeah, she goes to like this witch that like, she's like, oh, you can buy carvings, and they're all carvings of bears. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, no, I need a spell to change my face. She's like, I don't do that. And then she like pulls out like this gold charm thing to like pay her. She's like, oh, are you sure this is what you want? And she like makes her like this little pie that the person has to eat, and it'll change her fate. But what it does is it turns her mom into a bear, and she has to like learn stuff in order to change her fate. And the whole journey of her mom as a bear, the two of them learning from each other. Her mom then like comes around to her daughter's way of thinking, and they change the rules, and
they meet in the middle.
Yeah, they meet in the middle, and like
they have a compromise.
Right, and the mom said, like, she's made a decree that the kids are now allowed to marry for love instead of for honor or whatever, like the ceremony dictated. Whatever. Yeah. Wow. So, and then they have to like it literally says they have to mend the bond in order to change the mom back. So they like, there's a scene where they're fighting where Merida, like the mom is working on a tapestry, like she's sewing a tapestry.
She's gonna watch it.
She's seen it already.
I've seen it. I just haven't seen it. Well, I already downloaded it, so I'll see it tomorrow morning.
Well, they have to like fix the tapestry, and she thinks that sewing the tapestry up is going to fix it. And that's the whole mission.
Doesn't the dad learn not to kill bears or something? Like, that was like a whole other thing too.
No.
The dad's like, oh, I guess I can't kill every bear I see.
No, because then they find the bear that took his leg, and they kill that bear.
Oh, right.
The mama bear kills
they have to fight. They have to fight that bear at the end. That's right.
Yes.
Well, I know. I do remember liking it a lot. I watched it like at least 6 years ago.
I was not expecting to cry at that movie. That's the one that snuck up on me the most.
I cry every time.
Yeah, that's what
You
I'm
cry
telling
all
you.
the time.
You gotta be careful.
No. I've never cried at. I've
didn't
only
cry
cried
at Nemo.
I've only cried at one Marvel movie. I don't cry. I didn't cry at The Lion King even as a kid. No, I don't cry at every movie.
Oh, it was just a comment. Jeez, put your claws away. Oh, God.
Long live the king.
I didn't know what I was. I didn't know what I was.
To the listener, Missy just pressed that button.
No, it was Neri.
So Brave is my number one.
Boo.
High five. Girl power, bitches.
Wait, is it me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, that was your number one was Brave?
Yes.
Correct. Which was my number 2.
Oh, right. And then my number one is Wall-E.
That's beautiful.
Yay. That was my number 3.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite like movies, just because it's like there's no dialogue for like the first 45 minutes of this movie, and it still like gives you everything you need to know. It sets up this character so like aggressively well. It's 100% alive. It's like not human, so it's hard to like make that feel like a person, but they totally do. He has that little roach buddy, that little cockroach.
I love his little cockroach friend.
He collects all of these things. Yeah, they made a cockroach look cute. Like how the hell, you know?
How would you do
and
that?
then they just show him, and you know, they show him like just having this like kind of existence where he just goes about his day and he fixes his shoes or whatever. You know,
I feel like Wall-E, I don't know that they said it specifically, but like Wall-E has a glitch because he like collects things. Like he doesn't just turn everything into like a little compact little square like he's supposed to.
They don't talk about, like initially they show him and they only tell it through the videos with Fred Willard, like in the background with the by and large.
I love that.
This giant conglomerate, whatever. And they just show like these signs and things that as he's going through discovers. And then the whole movie shifts when he finds the little plant, and then then Eve shows up, you know? And that whole movie like has this complete tonal shift. It's incredible storytelling without any dialogue. It's so good. And then you see the relationship like build between the two of them, and how like once you start getting them back onto the ship, you know, there's like it shows like what happens with the technology's gone all overboard. Like the AI has taken control over everything. The captain doesn't really know what's going on. Like everyone's just going about their business, and then it's like it's just dope. And then it turns into like this crazy like AI like Rise of the Machines movie. It's dope. I love that movie so much. And then
I really love the floating scooters that have the screens and you don't have to do anything.
Well, I think she likes
the people like watching the watching the TV, not
like on your floating scooter and your little hover scooter.
Right.
So Wall-E was my number 3 for this mountain, and I had the same reaction to Wall-E that I did to BB-8, which was like 10 seconds of, and I was in love.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous because, like, what did they do? Nothing. They were just adorable robots.
Oh, BB-8 cursed a lot, so.
Well, yeah, but whatever. That's a different reality. He's under a lot of stress. Leave him alone. I definitely think that Wall-E is the same kind of reaction, like when he's by himself and he finds Eva. And then I think it's definitely a commentary on like the environment and what we've done to our planet, and also social commentary on what
we're doing to our bodies,
and how addicted we are to technology, to like, you know, not for nothing,
or how reliant
the monitors.
We don't have cell phones in our hands right now.
Well, right.
I mean, I do because I'm on the phone.
We all do.
Yeah. So I just think Wall-E is like a really sweet movie, and it was a great way, again, going back to my personal parameters for my mountain, it's a story that transcends the, you know, cutesy kid story. It's something that if you're an adult, you definitely walk away with something to think about. And
yeah, Wall-E has one of my favorite scenes in any movie of all time, which is the fire extinguisher.
I was just about to say that's the best
scene
in the movie.
So cute.
I can't tell you how much I love. Also, the way that they use music and sound in that movie. So the sound director, the guy who makes the noises that Wall-E makes, and the guy who created Eva and all that stuff, is the guy who did R2-D2 in Star Wars. It's the same guy. So he was like how he gave them all different voices and all that stuff was amazing. And also the Hello Dolly song at the beginning.
Yes. Oh
You know
my
how he
God,
has that on
so
the tape?
good.
Yeah.
And then at the end, when she goes to play it, and it's like static noises. That moment when Wally gets reset and is just like super robotic, how it's so different than
Yeah,
the
they
beginning.
fixed his glitch.
It
But he
fucked me
wasn't
up the first time I saw it.
He wasn't broken, Vanessa. What are you talking about?
I know he wasn't broken. I
And
never said
then
he
when
was
she
broken.
touches him and that little spark hits him, and you see like his eyes change and everything, and it's nothing like just in the way that these the physical shapes don't change of his hardware, but suddenly it's like alive again. It's amazing. That movie, it's incredible.
I wish you
And
could see Mary's face.
I'm 100%
Why?
on board with you, but now
he looks so bored.
I'm curious. Like, what's your face saying, Neri?
I'm taking in everything that's being said about Wally. I like the movie. I don't go to the Church of Wally like a lot of other people, but I like the movie a lot.
I don't go.
One of my
any church.
One of my favorite sequences is him when she shuts down, and that whole time. And then when later on when she starts looking through the video, and she sees that he never left her side, and that he covered her with an umbrella, and like
Oh my God! I like when he gets struck by lightning.
Yeah, when he
He's
gets
like, what happened?
Yeah, when he gets struck by lightning.
He gets struck by lightning and then pulls out another umbrella. He's got another one on reserve.
What a
Come
gentleman!
on.
They don't make him like that anymore.
So I like the but I'm just taking it. I haven't seen it in probably a couple of years.
I love that.
And I remember when I literally tweeted when I did see it 2 years ago for the first time in forever. I literally tweeted that I was like, wow, I really forgot how beautiful that movie was.
It's so good.
And again, I've now since forgotten how beautiful that movie was.
It is.
Because I'm like, oh, okay. I kind of got thrown off. I will be honest. I kind of got thrown off when I saw Humans. Like actual, like when I saw the tapes and stuff of the movie, I'm like, oh, that kind of just cheapens it.
What do you mean?
like that.
Like, what's his name? What's his name? Mike Willard, whatever the fuck his name is.
Fred Willard was like it shows him as a human.
It shows him as a person, and I didn't like that. And then we see the captain as a fucking animated, and you're like, huh? Nah, this is weird.
Well, I mean, I feel like the live action is like animation in that world.
Yes.
Well, no, I feel like that because they show the different captains as they progress through the ages, and that's you basically the human race has fatted their way from real life to CGI.
Yeah,
like that's basically what they're showing is that like we're so inactive, and they show the skeletal muscle mass when they show it.
That,
like how,
whole thing was
like
the whole thing was originally reading up on it. The director originally wasn't making a statement about overeating. It was really
he wasn't commenting on human laziness.
It was about laziness. No, it wasn't. No, not at first.
It was like what would happen to your body living in space for so long.
And your bone density shrinks, and that's what happens.
Because they're in space for like 200 years.
They're also in front of a TV screen.
Again,
well, that doesn't help.
Again, and later on, but at first, the director, the whole point of it was that he was not making a statement about how lazy people are, how fat people are. He was making a statement about all he was talking about at first was waste. His vision for the movie was about waste, about how much people throw away, wastefulness, and then the whole them being fat was because of their bone density. It was not because
we live in space for too long, Missy. That's our problem.
Well, it's also like because they do show at the beginning when they show like, oh, you can sail, and then Grandma could even come along in the chair. Like the chair wasn't supposed to be how everybody did it. But because of how people get used to like the comforts and the conveniences, then it takes away from the whole thing. And you can see them when they get back to Earth that they're like dealing with, or when they finally like are struggling to like fix everything, and you see like
they're walking like babies learning how to walk.
Yeah. Or like when you see the John and Mary, the couple that stop looking at the screens and they start realizing all the stuff that they have there, splashing the pool. They start getting a little flirt on, all these things. You know, like they shows them turn the screen away, and then they're like, "Oh my God, look what we've been missing." And then they look at the stars, and so that whole example of like, get your face out of the, like look around.
Yeah.
You gotta take in your surroundings.
What is it?
There was a lot of it. I love that movie.
Life moves too quickly. What is it? I don't know.
Say that again.
Ferris Bueller.
Okay, here you go.
Ferris Bueller. Take a moment. Life moves too quickly, and if you don't take a moment, it'll pass by you.
Yeah, you don't stop to look around, you might miss it.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you,
Michael. It didn't. I love that movie also because it's not a straight up like It's not like a.
I feel like it doesn't feel
love
like it's a little
story.
bit preachy without being preachy. You know? I don't know.
No, but I agree with what Mike saying. It's not an in-your-face love story. It's like a friendship that, like a I don't know.
But it's a love story.
It's about it's also about think about how lonely he is on Earth by himself. He's the only one that's left that's still running and thinking and learning how to fix himself. Like he's the AI version of the like the ship captain, the ship AI. He's like learned how to take care of himself. He's the only one, or supposedly, from what it looks like, the only one left running. Like that's super lonely. Imagine like a person drops down, like how crazy that would be, and you're like, holy shit, who's this person? Let me find out what's going on.
He's the only one left.
Huh?
He's the only one left. That's why he's by himself. He's completely by himself.
There's no other thing.
I don't remember thinking that he was the only one left. I'm learning something.
Yeah,
it's just an interesting story that isn't like a straight like boy meets girl, but it's robots, and it's so like the motivations are different.
Yeah, it's not like a cutesy.
And then and then
story.
Earth, and then like environment and the things around you. It's different than the other one.
Oh, and the girl robot saves the boy robot at the end.
Eva.
Well, they save each other.
I think they save each other.
They do. They save each other.
Smushed, and she saved him.
Yeah, but he saves her.
Yeah,
Doesn't she shut down?
He gives her the plant.
He gives her the plant.
He gives her the plant.
They save each other. That's the perfect love story.
Yeah.
That's
my number one. I love that movie.
It's a good put. Good job, Michael.
Like in A Star Is Born, they save themselves until the tragic ending.
No, not the same. Not the same at all. I love you, but it's not the same at all.
I know. I just took a shot. Natty?
Yeah, my number one was Inside Out. We talked about it.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. Usually our final mountain is based upon whoever got the most votes.
Right.
But we have 2 movies that got 3 votes, which was Inside Out and Coco, so they definitely made the mountain.
Yes.
But we have 3 picks who got 2 votes.
Okay.
So we need to whittle that down to only 2. So it's between WALL-E, Finding Nemo, and Brave.
I vote for WALL-E.
I vote for Nemo and Brave because then I would have a perfect mountain.
I vote for WALL-E.
Well, I vote for logistically, I vote for Brave and WALL-E because they were rated somebody's number 1 and somebody's number 2.
Right.
And Finding Nemo was, Finding Nemo was number 4. Was 2 people's number 4.
Yeah.
So to me, it would be Brave and WALL-E.
Nemo. Sorry, not sorry.
So
for sure.
I like Brave and WALL-E.
Yeah,
I want.
Yeah. So there you go. So then we got the final mountain is WALL-E, Inside Out, Coco, and Brave.
I only missed one.
I only missed one too.
I already got one.
WALL-E, Inside Out, Coco, and Brave.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good day of watching movies.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like your feelings, sure.
Yeah.
Fuck your
Guys,
feelings,
I've
bitch.
been super emotional lately. I need a day. I need to purge all my emotions so I can get them all out at once, so they can't be used against me later. Guys, I'm a man. What do? We bottle it all up until we all release it at once.
Correct.
Yeah,
I'm happy with our mountain. Yay us.
Yeah.
So that's the final mountain. Anyways, thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure to check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network. I am Heroes and Vanessa Saenz. Mike Mercadal, we can check. Where can they get you? Where can they check you out?
Follow me at Mike Mercadal on everything and Zeros on Heroes on everything. And if you're in New York, come Thursday night to the Creek in the Cave in Long Island City, Queens, and you can be on Unsung Heroes.
Yay!
Right on. So, and that's also part of the Geek Bro Network. So, Zeros on Heroes also part of Geek Bro, which you could go to geekbro.net and check out Zeros on Hero there, as well as the other podcasts on the Zeros on Hero Network, including Mommas and Merlot.
That's me.
That Vanessa's on. And the What's Up Bro podcast that Missy.
That's me.
And I am on. As well as the Talking Geek podcast, Comedy Fitness, Better Let Me Tell You, the What's Good, and the Morbid Curiosity. So
Did
make
you say
sure
Shiver?
And Shiver, that's right. I'm sorry, Shiver, the horror movie podcast. So make sure
BFF.
Sure. So make sure you guys check that out. Geekbro.net. You can check out all my comedy at naryscience.com or whatwashisname.com.
Send money.
And you can see videos. I post videos up there pretty regularly. So make sure you guys check that out. Whatwashisname.com and geekbro.net. And Missy?
You can find me at Missy Writes. That's with 3 S's on Instagram, or missywrites.com for my latest writing posts.
MISSSY.
Right.
The 3 S's are in the Missy.
Yes. Writes.com. Check me out. I'm cool. Oh, no.
Okay.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Fine. Gee, that's a hard deal. Huh?
So that's how winning is done, or is that the wrong podcast?
No, that's how lists are made. Mike, thanks for hanging out with us, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Michael.
Get ready. I'm just going to be calling in every time you do this.
Fantastic.
Awesome.